Is this my punishment?
I recently tried out the closed beta for Love and Deepspace, which will be releasing in February 2024, and I was completely blown away by what I experienced. Now, let me just say that I don't usually play Otome games. They aren't really my focus in games, though I have played a couple over the years. But this one, I was truly impressed with this one. What is up, my dwellers of the interwebs? I'm Sourcin, and this is my first impression on the closed beta of the upcoming Otome game, Love and Deepspace. The first thing you will be greeted with when you start up the game is the character creator. I was quite impressed with what the character creator had to offer, to be honest. You had sliders for the face, enough to make quite a unique face, and a fair amount of skin tones and hairstyles. You could even customize your character's voice, including the pitch, and fine-tune the various levels with sliders too. Very impressive.
Being cautious is always a smart move. Being cautious is always a smart move. It's just a minor setback.
You find out that the main reason for the focus on your voice is because the story cinematics actually use your voice that you created, which was pleasantly surprising. It was nice to hear my character use the voice that I made during all the story cinematics. And this game is super rich in story content. Majority of your gameplay will be spent watching story play out, while the in-game conversations are voice acted.
But this one, bright as a flame, is a real Flamula from Lemurian legends.
Flamula? I'm not very familiar with those myths or folklore.
You are sadly not. Your voice will only appear during the cutscenes. So when you're conversing in-game, you will have to read your replies.
So yes, as you can see, I became a hunter to follow in Captain Jenna's footsteps. I want to be as badass as she is, to be her equal and fight alongside her.
I also recommend you make sure to check if there is more text hidden in the chat box, because sometimes you might think your writing is cut off, but actually you have to slide your finger up the chat box to show the rest of your conversation. So keep that in mind so you don't lose parts of your conversation. Though of course, if that does happen, you can always view the history section if you need to. If you're a lover of story-rich games, then this is definitely one worth investing in. The gameplay is quite interesting. All the story content is played out in vertical mode on your phone, and your perspective is first person. This allows for a more personalized and immersive experience. It was nice that you would see your hands move around as you talked as well. But when you enter the rare combat modes in the game, your perspective will change to third person, and your phone will swap to landscape mode for the combat. I thought this was really cool, and I wish more games did that when their main focus is on a vertical experience. Once the combat is over, the game will revert back to vertical once again to continue the story. There are also plenty of other modes you will experience in the game. I especially enjoyed the photo booth dating section that lets you take 4 pictures and you can decide on what types of pictures you want to take, as well as the clothing and poses that you want to do for the solo and duo pictures. The higher your relationship with the person you bring along will have more poses unlocked for the duo mode as well. You can also experience intimate memories when you unlock more gacha cards for your ikemen. I was able to get a very intimate one between my character and Xavier, and you could actually touch various parts of his body and he would react, though the one on his chest was locked. I'm assuming I need a higher relationship with him to unlock that one. It's all very intimate and made even more so since you are in first person mode. There's plenty to do in this game, and I'm sure you will not be disappointed.
And you're not worried about me retaliating? Are small animals like me pushovers? Since you seem to know everything, you should enlighten me. When faced with a hunter who knows my weaknesses and how to take advantage of them, is there anything I can do?
So there is actual combat in this game, surprisingly. As I mentioned before, your phone will go into landscape mode and you will enter third-person perspective to enter combat. You will enter with your Ikemen as your party members, and if you do a perfect dodge, this can proc a special, more powerful move that you can cast for them by tapping on their icon. The combat is action combat and it is fast-paced. You have to dodge telegraphs and also have more powerful abilities that you can use. I did notice there is an auto mode for the combat, which I'm not surprised since this is an Otome game, so the main focus is not on the combat. But I loved the combat a lot, so I probably will never turn that auto on. While the combat is a rare occurrence, it is a lot of fun, and I always look forward to the next combat mode during the story. The audio was relatively decent, I suppose. I love the cinematics and how all the conversations are all voice acted, and even your voice is used in the cinematics, though not during the in-game chat. I would have preferred if it was used all the time, but it's not that big of an issue. I did find the breathing the guys do sometimes felt really loud, like ASMR style loud. It was very awkward, and then when they talk, the sound would go back to normal.
It is quite unlike you to stare at me without saying a word. As I've told you before, it's not what you think.
I also experienced one conversation where a part of what was said went very quiet, and then it went back to normal. I'd say that the sound needs some work, but once the balancing is done, it should be much better. The visuals in the game are jaw-dropping. I couldn't get over how gorgeous this game was. The game's visuals remind me a lot of games like Final Fantasy, for example. Super high quality, and it was gorgeous. I absolutely loved how the game looks. All the characters are highly detailed, and it's just overall very impressive. I greatly enjoyed my experience in Love and Deepspace. This game truly surprised me. The graphics were jaw-droppingly gorgeous, almost reminding me of Final Fantasy's visual fidelity, and the combat was so much fun. I especially like how the game will swap from vertical to landscape gameplay when you get into combat. The first-person story was engaging, and I loved how not only could you pick the voice and customize it to your liking in the character creator, but your voice was present in the cinematics. While it won't show up in the gameplay chat, the in-game cinematics will have them, which I thought was really cool. While Otome games are not usually my focus, this game was so much fun that I think I will definitely play this once it releases in February 2024. I'll be eagerly awaiting this release. I love this closed beta so much that I think that it is definitely worth a 9 out of 10 overall score. That's how much I loved it, and I cannot wait for it to come out. So there you have it. That's my first impression on the closed beta of the upcoming game Love and Deepspace. Thank you for watching. I'm Sorasin. Have a fantastic day. Please drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed my content, and hit that bell icon to stay up to date on all my upcoming videos. And if you're watching this on TapTap.io or on the TapTap app, I hope you'll consider following my profile as well. Bye bye!